In today's video, I'm going to share with you 5 edgy fragrances that really stood out for me in the month of April. Today, of course, the best 5 discoveries of April 2024. If you're looking for fragrances that are unique, exotic, and edgy, these will fit the bill perfectly. Stick around. These are 5 fragrances that really stood out when it comes to the smell themselves, the performance, and how they made me feel. So I'm glad to share them with you here. Perhaps you'll have the same experience or better. So kicking off the list here, this is from the house of Kajal Parfums. This is Almaz. And Almaz is basically a woody aromatic fragrance with a gourmand backbone. Opens up creamy, it has this coconut/fig creaminess to it, which I love. I gravitate towards this kind of a scent profile. It's very green, very inviting, almost gourmand. Like I said, woody aromatic, woody spicy gourmandy kind of a facet here. The notes that will stand out will be the rose, the iris, so it does have a floral effect. There is a coconut/fig and iris kind of a situation here in the heart, which is just absolutely incredible. Then you have this brown sugar, sandalwood, musk, and vanilla dry down. That's when the gourmand facets will come through. This is powdery, a little bit balsamic, definitely creamy, an absolutely outstanding fragrance. And this here will be something in the spectrum when it comes to the scale of masculine, feminine, right in the middle. If you love gourmand, woody, floral, creamy, balsamic type scents, anybody can rock this. A guy or a gal will rock this perfectly. A very confident fragrance at that. From the house of Kajal Almaz. If you haven't tried this one, guys, do yourself a favor and check this one out. What I really enjoy about doing these discovery videos for you guys is that I normally will share with you fragrances that you've never even heard of. Off the beaten path type fragrances, stuff that I discovered, I became very enamored with, hence the fact that I put them together in these monthly discovery videos. The next one here, Filippo Sorcinelli, which is an Italian brand, quite famous in Italy, but not so much in this, side of the pond here in the US or North America for that matter. This one here is called Lentezza Carezza, which means slow caress or slow, when you're like caressing someone slowly and warmly. That's what this fragrance is about. When you look at the actual bottle here, it's very minimalist, very artisanal, and the juice itself is very artisanal. And I have to tell you though, and warn you, this, as you have this orange paint here, is like a warning sign. This will not be for everyone. Now hear me out. Fragrance opens up very green, very sharp, very astringent, something that most people won't really love. I love the opening here, but most people won't. It reminds me of Super Cedar meets Mr. Marvelous from Byredo, which I think both fragrances have been discontinued at this point, but it's like if you melded those two fragrances together, that's what you're gonna get here. Very sharp, very sparkly, very fizzy, and most definitely very, very sharp. So if you love citrus fragrances that are very sharp and very natural smelling, that's what you get in the opening here. Lentezza Carezza is actually a very aromatic, green, and unique fragrance. Emphasis on the unique part because you're gonna get this prickly pear note up top, so there's definitely all those spicy and green, fizzy, and sparkly fruit notes that I talked about, citrus in nature. But then you have all these green components that come through that are very woody, very aromatic. I do get a lavender/mossy kind of a feel that comes through, so it's a very green fragrance despite the fact that it's painted orange. This opens up citrus and then becomes very green. There's even incense here, like myrrh. So it's a very unique and exotic type scent, which again, I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be for everyone, but if you're in the market for something very unique and exotic, this is something you must try. I have to say, this is a must try for me. I'm not gonna say must buy. Nothing is really a must buy. Everything you should try to make sure you love it and agrees with your body chemistry. And you can always do that with perfume.com, as you guys know, with my code MAX12. Goes without saying, you should know it by now. I've been talking to you guys about for years here on the channel. I do it myself. Always get myself a decant, a travel atomizer, so that I can try fragrances, especially the real expensive ones, before pulling the trigger. So Lentezza Carezza is one of those must try. As the fragrance develops and warms up with your body chemistry, the whole sharpness that I talked about goes away and the magic begins. The base has a trifecta of vanilla, musk, and sandalwood, which adds this creaminess to the fragrance, along with those notes that I talked about, giving off this incredible dance on skin. It just becomes something that is rather addicting. You can't get enough, and I guarantee you those around you won't be able to get enough either. But like I said, this is a try before you buy. I don't even know what the retail price on this one is at this point. But again, everything will be listed below if you guys want to try it or get a bottle. Of course, I'll have it listed for you. But I don't think it's going to break the bank, and I love the uniqueness of this fragrance. This to me is perfection for spring and early summer and early fall. I think this is where this shines the most. Although you could wear this all year round for sure. Next up, we're going to talk about a brand that's getting quite a limelight right now in the fragrance world. People are really talking about this brand. This is called Reinvented. The fragrance itself is Epiphany, and Epiphany is going to be a rather exotic fragrance. Talking about exotic and unique, this one here is definitely one of those. The bottle itself I really like. It has this marble kind of a cap, and the bottle itself is very similar to Tom Ford's private blend flacons, the 250 ml flacons. Very similar to that, very classy looking bottle. And this particular fragrance, ladies and gentlemen, is something rather very, very unique. It's going to be one of those fragrances that are fruity and leathery at the same time. You have the saffron note, opens up. To me, I describe this as a floral, fruity leather. It's definitely floral, definitely leathery, and definitely spicy. So you have all these crazy nuances here all at once. All these powerful notes, fighting. Opens up quite intriguing, and it's gonna be one of those that are gonna have you're gonna have you scratching your head a little bit and saying, do I really like this? But it has an effect that you just can't get enough. You're gonna keep coming back for more. That's the effect I had on it. I thought it was weird at first. Then I kept coming back for more, and I was like, you know what? Let me wear this fragrance. And then I wore on skin, and then I liked it even more. It has this citrus, lemony and / leathery facet with the saffron and leather notes and the citrus accords. So it's rather very unique and weird when it opens up. Think about a citrus leather opening. That's what you get here. Very green, very citrus. Again, with the leathery undertone, which is quite unique and different from all the leather fragrances I've tried thus far. In the heart, you have iris, you have cardamom, you have a floral component with a peppery, spicy undercurrent, which is again, quite unique and exotic. In the base, you have the smoky patchouli with incense, cedar, and musk. So needless to say, this is a power bomb. This is a fragrance that's going to be no joke. And again, another one that's very unique and not going to be for everyone. But if you really like things that are very artistic, very unique, off the beaten path, as I said, a few minutes ago, this is something you definitely want to look into. Before I give you guys the last two fragrances that really stood out for me in the month of April, I want to share with you once again Fragropedia.com, which is a website that I love. I enjoy looking for things that are unique, off the beaten path, not only fragrances, but brands. They have over 45 to 50 unique and exotic niche brands, some of the best in the world, some up-and-coming niche brands, and some of the usual suspects. But check them out, and of course, use my code MAX10 if you want to get 10% across the board on anything you want to try, not only the fragrances I'm talking about here today, but anything from the 45 to 50 brands they have to choose from. And of course, you guys should know that with any order from Fragropedia.com, you'll also be treated. They're going to treat you with some samples. There is no order that does not get samples, which is amazing. They'll give you 3 to 4 samples per order, which is unheard of. So I love this brand. Not only can you discover fragrances as you purchase them, but you also get free samples to discover things that you haven't even thought about it. Details below, not only with this fragrances, but also, of course, with the discount code and everything else you need to know from Fragropedia.com. Check them out, enjoy, come back here, and let me know your experiences you had with Fragropedia.com. I'd love to read them in the comments. Now, let's continue here the countdown, or the last two here, not really a countdown, but the last two best discoveries of April of 2024. This is one from 𝗏 Barcelona, and 𝗏 Barcelona is a brand that kind of, people don't talk about them as much. They have a phenomenal iris fragrance called D600 that I urge you guys to check out. Palo Santo, which is a vetiver and Palo Santo based scent with a milky undertone. That's my favorite from the brand. And of course, this discovery here that I'm so happy to have discovered to share with you today, this is going to be Rose and Dragon. As the name here would imply, of course, it is a rose-based scent, but it is so much more. So basically, the fragrance opens up with this incredible rose, floral, spicy nuance that's very creamy, very inviting, very unique. There is this smell here that I've never tried with a rose fragrance. The great thing is there's no oud here, so it's not going to be another one of those rose and oud combos. It's rather a very intriguing rose type scent. The best way to describe Rose and Dragon, I think that's the name, Rose and Dragon. The dragon part of it is going to be the spicy leather that it has. So it's basically a rose and leather type scent. Like I said, very inviting, very unique. As soon as you spray this on, you're going to have this fruity rose up top that's very creamy and balsamic in the account of the notes that it has. It also has honey here, this wild honey facet that adds this sweetness to it. Not overly sweet, not sickly sweet whatsoever. And the leather here is not a rough style leather, but rather a suede leather type, like a suede leather jacket that just smells like made to measure, fit to like bespoke type of a situation. Just incredibly smelling. Another one, just like I talked about Almaz a little while ago, very unisex, gender-free, anybody can rock and smell incredible. A very confident style scent, just like Almaz. One thing I want to mention here that I forgot is the wild strawberry that this fragrance has as soon as it opens up. The fruitiness that I talked about is given by a gorgeous and delectable note of wild strawberry. So wild strawberry, spices, leather, honey. In the base, you're going to have this castoreum/ambery facet that gives this fragrance a little bit of an animalic undertone, but just add dimension, mystery, and intrigue to the fragrance. This is a masterpiece, guys. If you haven't tried Rose and Dragon, please try this. Come back here and thank me because you're gonna smell so unique. Everyone's gonna love the way you smell, including yourself. Over the last couple of years with Vibrato, this brand has gotten tremendous limelight, and rightfully so because they produce incredible fragrances. But the one I wanna highlight today is one that I have not heard of in the fragrance world out there, and it's one that I truly think deserves to be talked about. From the house of Suspiro, this is Contralto. And Contralto is basically a woody aromatic citrus fragrance. So citrus, woody aromatic. This is a citrus fragrance with a backbone. Smells absolutely out of this world good. In fact, I love this so much. I'm actually gonna be rocking this today. Furthermore, I can see this fragrance making a lot of top lists for me in the upcoming months, including summer lists, professional lists, best well put together fragrances to give you an edge, so on and so forth. It is that good of a fragrance. To give you a little bit of a reference so you can kind of understand how good this is, think about 𝗙𝗏𝗏 from Byredo, which I love. It's a vetiver-based scent, which is one of my favorites from the brand, including that one and Pulp. I think those are my two favorites. And earlier in this video, I talked about Super Cedar and Mr. Marvelous. I think those are definitely my top favorites from the brand. But Contralto is going to have a little bit of that 𝗙𝗏𝗏 vetiver floral kind of a vibe, but it takes up a few notches because the citrus notes here are just very powerful, very in your face, very inviting, inspiring, bright, effervescent. So it opens up very citrus, very bright. Then as the fragrance develops, it gets creamier, woodier, even spicier. It's a more powerful version of what's available today from 𝗙𝗏𝗏, from Byredo, because that fragrance, I believe, it's been toned down quite a bit. It's not as powerful as it once was. So if you missed that fragrance, this is your answer right here, ladies and gents. Besides the vetiver here in the base, you have a pink pepper note, you have some balsams. That makes this a very balsamic, very interesting and intriguing and inviting composition, great for compliments as well. And you have this guaiac wood and vanilla dance between the heart and the dry down, which adds this creaminess and volume texture to this fragrance, just like the velvet that you see here on the bottle itself. An outstanding fragrance, hence the fact that it's my top pick here of the best discoveries of the month. And I highly suggest and recommend you guys checking out Contralto. I think you're going to be very, very surprised with this particular composition. Like I said, this will be my scent of the day today. And like I said, this is a very powerful composition. The way I sprayed here is enough for the whole day. It's gonna take me through the whole day. I'm gonna smell incredible. And this is just one of those very inspiring type scents that I'm so happy to share with you today, including all the 5 fragrances here in this video. Check out details below. If you do enjoy this video, leave me a like, subscribe for more, hit the bell so you can get these videos straight into your feed. And of course, I will come back with another video or a top list very soon. Take care.